Hello YouTube, it's Barbara Jean. I'm speaking a little soft because the house is still sleeping. At least some of them are. um, okay, I'm not really quite sure where to go with this. I've got a few things to say. A couple of weeks ago, I was looking up the word filthy. I had some things on my mind and I was trying to sort them out. So I was looking up the word filthy and I had all these interesting um, verses that came up, but mostly I noticed the word filthy was associated with lucre or mammon, filthy money, dirty money, disgustingly dirty money. That's what filthy means. It's disgustingly dirty or obscene. And when I was looking up filthy, there was a lot of verses, but like I said, most of the words filthy came up with money. There was at least, let me see, one, two, three, four, five references to filthy money, dirty money, that is mentioned that comes up in the New Testament. The first one is Colossians 3:8. The other one is 1 Timothy 3:3. 1 Timothy 3:8. Oh, I already said that one. Oh, excuse, the other one was Colossians 3:8, 1 Timothy 3:3, 1 Timothy 3:8, Titus 1:7, Titus 1:11, 1 Peter 5:2. So these are the references to filthy lucre, dirty money. So this was going through my mind. So, and I was thinking, why I was thinking about that was because I believe that the dragon has to do with this false economy, this new world order economy that's coming up. And the reason why, again, why I was thinking it was because the seventh church, which is the church of Laodicea, has to face the beast. They have to overcome the beast. That is their challenge to overcome. And this church is in love with money. And you can read it for yourself. They're rejected from the rapture because of their comfortableness in this world and their love of money. And the love of money, which is the root of all evil. Let me see if I can find that reference. Quickly, I don't know whether I can. Let's see. I didn't write this down. Money. Yeah. 1 Timothy 6:10. For the love of money is the root of all evil, not just some, but all evil, which while some comforted after, they have erred from the faith and pierced themselves through with many sorrows. So this is a prophetic word about the Laodicean church. For the love of money. Let me just go to that reference really quickly. 1 Timothy 6:9. For they which excuse me, but they that will be rich fall into temptation and a snare, and into many foolish and hurtful lusts, which drown men in destruction and perdition. For the love of money is the root of all evil, which while some coveted after, they have erred from the faith and pierced themselves through with many sorrows. But thou, O man of God, flee these things and follow after righteousness, godliness, faith, love, patience, and meekness. Now, let's just go back to the word filth. The filthy. And one of the references here that talks about filthy lucre is about how deacons and bishops should those who pastor and look after the church should remain from filthy lucre. In other words, they shouldn't have a love of money. It does not say you can't have money. It just says you shouldn't be in love with money. Um, um, 1 Timothy 3:8. Likewise must the deacons be grave, not double-tongued, not given to much wine, not greedy of filthy lucre. Um, and again, for the bishops, 1 Timothy 3:3, not given to wine, no striker, not greedy of filthy lucre, but patience, not a brawler, but not covetous. So filthy and lucre, filthy, dirty money, is referenced together in 5 times in the New Testament. Now, I wanted to go back to Revelation chapter 3 and the last day church. Laodicean church, and they're rejected from the rapture. They're told right from the beginning of his rebuke to them that they will be removed. I mean, not they will be spit out. They're spit out from, basically, they're rejected, vomited from the rapture because of their love of money. They're comfortable in this world. They're in love with money. Um, because thou art lukewarm and neither cold or hot, I will spew you out of my mouth. Because thou say, I am rich, and increase with goods, and have need of nothing, and knowest not that thou art wretched, miserable, poor, blind, and naked. And then here's another reference to money. I counsel thee to buy of me gold tried in the fire, that thou mayest be rich. There is another reference to money. And right raiments, that thou may be clothed, and the shame of thy nakedness do not appear. And anoint thy eyes with eye salve, that thou mayst see. As many as I love, I rebuke and chasten. Be zealous, therefore, and repent. Now, I wanted to go to further into the book of Revelation and to the seventh seal. No, the eighth seal. And this is where the seventh seal is opened. And there is an angel who is standing before the throne. Oh, I saw the seven angels which stood before the throne. Okay, this is a reference to the seven angels. Remember, Jesus is holding the seven stars, which represent the seven angels of the churches. So here are all seven are now standing before the throne. Not just one, not just two, but all seven are standing before the throne of God. Chapter 12, chapter 11 or 12. I think it's chapter 10. Chapter 10, you see a description of the seventh angel, or the seventh angel of the church of Laodicea. And the church of Laodicea, the angel's wearing a crown of a rainbow around his head. Interesting. So that actually shows the rainbow is seven colors. So this is how the seventh angels, we're given an in-depth description of the seventh angel that is in the hands of the Lord. But in this case, in Revelation chapter 8, we see seven angels. So that represents each angel that represents the church, or the guardian angels of the churches, and the seven churches. And they're standing, and they were given seven trumpets. So it's interesting that the seven angels are given that are the guardian angels of the churches, begin the judgment on the world. They are not just angels of the guardian angels of the churches, but they are also they also trumpet. They announce. Basically, trumpet is the sound of announcement or proclamation, or something new is beginning to happen. The trumpets are later on used and the seven trumpets are blown one at a time as judgment on the world. So that the angels, which had gone through the churches, through the seven church ages, are now given the trumpets to blow, to begin the judgment on the world, or the wrath of the Lord, for all the abominations that were done to the churches throughout the church age. Okay. He saw the seven angels which stood before God. This is Revelation chapter 2. And to them were given seven trumpets. Okay. Another angel came and stood at the altar. So this is a different angel, having a golden censer, and were given unto him much incense, that he should offer it with the prayers of all the saints upon the golden altar which is before the throne. So now another angel, the angel, I guess, that is the keeper of the prayers, brings this incense, but it's actually he pours the incense on, but it represents the prayers throughout the church age, the prayers of the saints that have gone up to the Lord, and now the Lord is going to hear them and judge the world according to all the prayers that were offered to the Lord that were not answered. Now they're going to get their prayers answered, or the revenge, or that the wicked world has done to the church. So now here comes the angel that's holding the prayers. And the smoke of the incense which came up with the prayers of the saints ascended before God and out of the angel's hands. And the angel took the censer and filled it with fire of the altar and cast it into the earth. And there were voices and thunders and lightnings and earthquakes. So this begins the judgment on the earth, or the wrath of God, for all the wrongs that were done to the saints during the 2,000 years um, of God's of the church age, basically. And the seven angels which had the seven trumpets prepared themselves to sound. And the first angel sounded, and there followed hail and fire mingled with blood, and they were cast upon the earth, and the third part of the earth trees were burnt and up, and all the grass was burnt up. Okay, so that is beginning of the judgments of the wrath of God, the first trumpet. Now I want to go back, and I also want you to realize that see that that fire, it was mingled with fire. The seventh church has to go through fire. I'll read that again in chapter 3, verse to the church of Laodicea. Verse 18, I counsel thee to buy of me gold tried within the fire, that thou mayst be rich, and white raiment. I also want you to see, I think it's Matthew 24. Matthew 24. Okay, here's the same sign of the beginning of the tribulation, which is the sign that the rich and the powerful will go and hide themselves. This is the sign that happens first. It's the sun darkens and the moon will not give its light, or basically turns to blood, and the stars fall from heaven, and the power of heaven shall be shaken. So there's a great earthquake. So that is the same sign that is given in Revelation chapter 4, that is given to begin at the sixth seal. That is these are the same signs. They match. Okay. Angels falling, and he sent the angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather the elect from one end of the earth together. So this is the rapture of the church. And now we see the parable of the fig tree. We see the signs of Noah, heaven, earth, and this is the rapture when it talks about one shall be taken near the left. Anyway, I just wanted you to see that, and so that at the end there shall be some left behind. Now, the ones that are left behind are those who are involved with filthy lucre or the love of money. And I wanted to tie that together with the dragon. Now, let's just go back here to the dragon. And I hope I'm making sense here, but this makes sense to me. So I hope it makes sense to some of you. But I wanted to put this all together with the dragon. And the reason why I was thinking about this was because I was thinking about the movie The Hobbit. The Hobbit by Tolkien, who wrote the Hobbit and Lord of the Rings series. And this man was a Christian. Now, I'm not saying it was a truly prophetic work, and in some ways it was. And there was a dragon in The Hobbit. It's interesting that they did the Lord of the Rings first, and then they did The Hobbit second when they produced the films. When they filmed, they did the Lord of the Rings first, and then they did The Hobbit. Well, in The Hobbit, there's a dragon, and this dragon is in love with money. It's in love with gold, anything that has to do with gold. Gold, of course, is the world knows is the currency that runs the world. It is the commodity that runs the world. It is our economic, um, it's how we judge how rich or poor a country is how much gold they have. Everyone knows it. The gold standard. And this dragon in the Hobbit has this mound of gold that it's sleeping in. It's in love with this money and this gold, and will not give up a piece of it to. He wants it all. He's greedy. He's in love with money. It's the root of all his evil. And anyway, what I thought was interesting is that here in Revelation chapter 12, we have this woman doing battle with the dragon. And the dragon tries to destroy the woman's child, but cannot succeed. She's removed and taken to the throne of God. And he then is thrown down. Michael is now, because this woman has overcome this dragon, she defeats the dragon by giving birth. The archangel Michael is now given permission and authority to go after the dragon and to throw down the dragon. The dragon then goes after Israel and the saints of God that are left on the earth. That is the church of Laodicea. Laodicea, you remember, is in love with money. Its problem is that it's in love with money. And the dragon represents money, or the love of money, the root of all evil, which is the love of money, the dragon. Now you see later on when the Antichrist rises up, which he, by the way, I just want to put people's hearts at mind. Those who are raptured off the earth will not see the rise of the Antichrist. We will not be here to see the rise of the Antichrist, because the Antichrist begins to rise after the rapture of the church. The two witnesses come on the scene, keep the Antichrist power at bay for 2.5 years, or 3.5 years. Keeps the Antichrist power at bay for 3.5 years. That is when the beast finally overcomes the two witnesses, but they rise up and they are raptured. That is when the beast, the Antichrist, then rises to his full power on earth and goes after Israel and the saints of God. And that's when he also implements the mark of the beast. The mark of the beast, if you remember, is an economic system where you're not allowed to buy or sell without the mark of the beast. Money. It's about money. The church of Laodicea overcomes the beast when they lose their love of money, when they are tried by fire, when they face the beast. Are they more in love with money and economic security, or are they in love with the Lord? And they overcome the beast when they reject the money system, when they reject the beast's money system, which wants to control every penny that everyone or anyone spends. Now, I want you to see that. Let's go to Revelation chapter. Where is now the mark of the beast? Is it 13? Is it 13? Yes, chapter 13. We see the rise of the beast. Now, the beast is given his authority by the dragon. The dragon gives the beast, the Antichrist, this hybrid humanoid, his power. And let's just see, Revelation chapter 13, verse 1. And I stood upon the sands of the sea, and I saw a beast rise up out of the sea. Remember, it's out of the sea, so this beast is a hybrid. This beast is not of the earth. It's not a son of Adam. You see, it's the son of Satan, because Adam came from the earth. These hybrids come from the sea, which is why they teach this theory of Darwinism, that we came from the sea, which is just a big fat lie. We did not. But the beast, which is a hybrid humanoid, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his head came the name of blasphemy. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him power. The dragon, this economic system, this lover of money, that is the root of all evil, and the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority. So remember, the dragon is thrown down in chapter 12. The woman overcomes and defeats the dragon by giving birth, which throws this dragon down from the sky, and Satan is angry. He's the dragon. And he is angry, and he goes after the saints. But he's not allowed or given permission to overcome them until the two witnesses are killed and then rise up and are raptured. That is when he really gets angry. and he goes after the saints and kills them. But I'll show that to you in a moment. Let's just continue to read. It's the dragon who gives authority to the beast. So continues to talk about the beast and how he's going to go through this. He's have one of his heads wounded, and all the world will wonder after him. And they worshipped the dragon. They worshipped this economic system. They worshipped the system of the beast, this love of money. It's a love of money. And they worshipped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast. And they worshipped the beast, saying, "Who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him?" And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and the power was given unto him to continue for 42 months. So that's 3.5 years. So continues to talk about the beast. And it talks about the false prophet again, and he spake like a dragon. So this evil spirit of the dragon is in the false prophet, and he does many wonders to deceive the people. And here is the economic system. And he caused chapter 13, verse 16. And he caused all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, and the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for his number is the number of man. His number is 666. So 666. Now, just realize how important this is. This is really an amazing situation going on here. You have the Laodicean church, which is in love with money, which is why they were rejected. The dragon represents an economic system, the love of money, which is the root of all evil. The church of Laodicea has to overcome the beast, overcome the dragon by overcoming their love of money. Now, there is a lot of people who do, and they are required, their very lives are required of them. The 144,000 are raptured in chapter 14. And then you see in chapter 15, here is chapter 15, here is the souls. They are not raptured, but the souls of those who are beheaded for Christ. Let's go back to chapter 14. You see Jesus sitting on a cloud, and he's now supervising, because the dragon has been cast down from the air. Jesus now takes control of the air in chapter 14. He now has control because the dragon's been thrown down. So now Jesus has control of the air, and as a result, he's now sitting on the air on a cloud. He has a sickle in his hand, and he's reaping the harvest of those who will not take the mark of the beast. Okay? And many people are killed. So when you see in chapter 15, as the souls of them in heaven who have not taken the beast. And this is what it says here. Revelation chapter 15, verse 1. And I saw another sign in heaven, great and marvelous, 7 angels having the 7 last plagues, for in them is filled up the wrath of God. So again, you see the 7 angels, instead of having trumpets, are now given the bowls of wrath. Okay, so the trumpets were announcing God's judgment. And then you have the seven bowls, which are the wrath of God. But they are not poured out until the last saint is killed. The last Laodicean church of the last that are killed. They will all be killed. According to this, they will be killed. Great and marvelous, 7 angels having the 7 last plagues, for in them is filled up the wrath of God. Okay? And I saw, as it were, the sea of glass mingled with fire. There's the fire again. There's the fire symbol, or a sign of the Laodicean church, which are told they will be tried by fire. Here is the fire. You see, the Lord many years ago got me working on patterns. Years ago, I mean, I started doing cross stitching and very elaborate cross stitching, and I discovered what happened was the Lord was training my brain to see patterns, and I didn't understand. I just thought I was just cross stitching for the love of cross stitching, which I was doing, I believe, but the Lord, I didn't know that the spiritual implications of it all was the Lord was training my mind to see patterns. And here we see a pattern. We see a pattern that's being formed. The Laodicean church is going to be tried by fire, the fire that is refining of gold. For the refining of gold. It's so amazing when you see the patterns. And here we see in Revelation chapter 15, after the wrath, after the Antichrist is rise to power, and now the two witnesses have been raptured, the 144,000 have been raptured. We see Jesus on a cloud with the sickle in his hand, reaping the grape harvest. The last great harvest, which is the souls of those who will not receive the mark of the beast. They will resist the beast system, which has to do with money and the economy and overcoming their love of money. And here we see chapter 15, verse 2. And I saw, as it were, a sea of glass mingled with fire, and them that had gotten the victory over the beast and over his image and over his mark and over the number of his name, standing on the sea of glass, having the harps of God. And they sing the song of Moses, the servant of God, and the song of the Lamb, saying, Great and marvelous are thy works, Lord God Almighty, just and true are thy ways, the King of saints. So here they are having a party. We're having a party because they overcame the beast. And this overcoming of the beast for the saints, the Laodicean church, gives them a great reward, and they are then resurrected at the end of the tribulation, an end of the wrath of God. When Jesus comes back in Revelation chapter 20, 19 and 20, you see Jesus return. He sets up his kingdom, and there's a resurrection of those that did not take the mark, and they are given authority over the earth for 1,000 years. That is their reward. Okay? They're given thrones and crowns to rule on earth. They are not raptured. They are here, and their bodies remain here. They are resurrected, and they are given the authority over the earth to rule and reign with Christ on earth. Not the bride. The bride remains in the temple because she is the high priestess. She is the body of Christ, and she is the high priestess. Her home is the temple of God. It says so in Revelation chapter 3, the church of Philadelphia, Revelation chapter 7, where you see the church in the temple. They do not return, they stay in the temple. Jesus comes back to the earth for 1,000 years to rule and reign with the saints that are resurrected, which are the martyred saints, and that's the church of the second church and the last church. They are given authority. Okay, I'm not going to go there right now. That's enough of that. But anyway, this is a great party. Chapter 15 is a party of um, the dead saints who have overcome the beast. So I just think it's all very, very fascinating to see the way this all works out. This is amazing. This book is amazing. I just love this book. I just do. I love this book. This book is amazing. The revelations that you're given, the it's just anyway, what can you say? It's amazing. Anyway, I will talk to you later. God bless.